On Q2, moving time.
When you hire new people for the city as department heads, the recommendation is to have them live inside the city.
City department heads may soon be required to live in Billings if they want to work for Billings. Plus, making a difference in the community.
By giving back to our community, by being engaged, we make a difference.
With the anniversary of 9/11 approaching, one business and hundreds of volunteers are giving their time to give back. And fiber frustrations.
This is a beautiful area to take walks in, and now this has just ruined the area.
Billings residents continue to dig up complaints against TDS fiber. The MTN 10 o'clock news starts right now.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Good evening and thanks for joining us on this Monday night. I'm Russ Riesinger. Our top story, making the move to the Magic City. A new proposal is in front of Billings City Council tonight, which would require all city department heads to reside in Billings. Tonight, our David J. dives into the recommendation and why it's being brought forward in the first place.
The motion is to proceed with a work session in October in this direction.
The City Council voted to discuss at a work session an initiative to have all department heads live in Billings.
If you take the job in the city and the job is one of the director positions, just like the city administrator, you should be living in the city.
Councilman Bill Kennedy says he proposed the initiative because 3 department head positions will be opening up.
They're making recommendations. Those recommendations for raising fees, mill levies, whatever, that it would affect them also.
The vote to even discuss the proposed initiative passed by just a 5-4 vote, and some on the City Council are against the idea of requiring city department heads to live within the city limits.
Typically, the costs that they have direct impact on are relatively small dollars. Raise a fee here, raise a tax there, a few $100s at the most, a few nickels or dimes at the least.
I don't think I can support this one. I am concerned about hiring the most qualified person. That's what I want. I want the most qualified people, the most educated people, and the most driven people to lead our city.
Others do like Councilman Kennedy's proposal.
An ordinance can be written that would ensure we don't have an unnecessary barrier, that we're respectful to family decisions, but that we also have the information to understand the dynamics and the perception of our cities when it comes to hiring. And that's important information for us. So I'm going to support this.
We have to have this discussion. So I hope you'll support that and reconsider so that we can have the discussion and come up with a really good policy that won't inhibit those great employees to coming to work for Billings.
Kennedy says there have been no issues. This is simply his plan to add clarity.
I think it's a great policy that we should have.
In Billings, David J., MTN News.
Russia continues to intensify its attacks on Ukraine, launching the largest air assault in nearly 4 years of the war. Russia deployed a swarm of more than 800 drones this weekend, according to Ukraine's Air Force. The assault caused serious damage in Ukraine's capital, hitting a key government building, killing at least 4 people, including a 2-month-old baby. Comes just 3 weeks after the face-to-face meeting between President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin in Alaska.
His willingness to meet with President Trump on Alaska was actually because of the fact that he was really scared about sanctions.
Last night, President Trump said he was ready to hit Russia with a second phase of sanctions. He also indicated he expects to speak with Putin in the next few days. With that war continuing overseas, President Trump is looking to crack down on crime in the Windy City.
We'd love to go into Chicago and straighten it out.
Trump posted on social media that Chicago is about to find out why it's called the Department of War. The Department of Homeland Security also announced federal immigration agents are launching operations in Chicago and Illinois targeting immigrants living in the U.S. illegally who also have criminal records. It comes after Trump touted his actions in Washington, D.C. this morning, calling it a safe zone in just a matter of weeks. The Trump administration also received a boost from the Supreme Court today. The High Court temporarily lifted restrictions on immigration-related stops in Southern California, allowing agents to stop people without reasonable suspicion that they're in the U.S. illegally and instead rely on factors like race and if they're speaking Spanish. The court's 3 liberal justices dissented. In another victory, Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts allowed President Trump to remove a member of the Federal Trade Commission while the court considers the case. Rebecca Kelly Slaughter is one of several appointees at the independent agencies that the president has removed since he returned to the White House. The 24th anniversary of 9/11 is now just days away. It's a day for remembrance, but it's also a time many come together and help others in their community. First Interstate Bank is hosting their 8th annual Volunteer Day Wednesday, where more than 400 employees give their time to give back. Our Isabel Spartz spoke to one local nonprofit on how the assistance can help propel them forward.
There's a saying that goes,
Many hands make light work.
one that rings true at Gratitude in Action.
We go out to pick up clothing and furniture, and it's nice to give back to the community.
David Brock is one of the many volunteers doing just that at the thrift store that helps promote drug recovery and sober living.
Personally, it's a good accomplishment knowing that you're here to volunteer and help and no expectation of anything.
His hours at the store are court-ordered, but that doesn't make him feel that this work is any less meaningful.
It's given me a new appreciation for people that are having a hard time. We need to open our hearts a little bit more.
As far as volunteers, we average about 4,600 volunteer hours a month.
Co-founder Terry Todd relies on those many hands.
Our staff can get basic day-to-day things done, but when it comes to the larger projects, it's really nice to get a lot of hands on deck.
It's why her nonprofit is one of 42 community partners, all a part of First Interstate Bank's annual Volunteer Day on Wednesday that falls around 9/11. 400 employees will stop work for the day and assist with 59 projects.
Lots of people like collective impact, and so they'll come out together to have a day of giving. And so it works out great that it happens to be this week.
A day of service, but also a day to remember those who've sacrificed everything.
9/11 was a really sad time in our world. And what we know is that we can remember that by giving back to the communities that have supported us.
So whether it's this week or in your spare time, Todd and Brock encourage those who can get out to do so and give back.
It helps you network. It helps you have an accomplishment besides just sitting on the couch.
Find out where you can give, because change makes our world so much better. It is by giving that we receive.
In Billings, Isabel Spartz, MTN News.
A recent report by the American Lung Association warns that nearly half of Americans are breathing dangerous air. 156 million people, or about 46% of the U.S., now live in areas with unhealthy air. That's 25 million more than last year. California tops the list for the worst air quality. The biggest culprits are extreme heat, wildfires, and drought, all conditions seen in Billings and across Montana. Today, the Magic City's air quality index was at a moderate level, with it expected to stay that way for the next few days. Experts say small daily choices like driving less can make a difference. With wildfire season still very much underway, health officials also urge you to check your local air quality alerts and take precautions when you're outside.
There's still some of that haze around as you take a live look with the Stockman Bank weather cam, but let's talk the temperatures for the day. We started off at 61, 10 degrees warmer than average, and ended up 9 degrees warmer than we would typically for this time into September at 87 degrees, still far away from that 99 degrees. That's a record high for the date. Top wind gusts is just a little over 30 miles per hour. Taking a look out towards Miles City, where temperatures again about 10 degrees above the seasonal average, despite starting off in the 50s first thing this morning, but a nice day for you in Miles City. But we do have a few showers, isolated thunderstorms that have been developing. Showers are starting to taper off. A lot of weather to talk about in a few minutes.
A Q2 News follow-up tonight as complaints continue to be dug up against TDS Fiber. As we recently reported, a Billings man is demanding action after he says the cable company not only damaged property in the neighborhood, but they've done nothing to repair it. Now, a week after the story and months after the damage, what is being done to resolve the issue? With the very latest, here's our Hannah Pettiferi.
These are all little walkways that we all walk our dogs and walk our kids and take them to school. And these are the sidewalks that we walk on, and they're all dead.
What used to be bright green grass, now withered and dull. Back in July, TDS Fiber was installing optic fibers underground in a Billings neighborhood.
This is where I guess it all started.
Hans Abbey, a resident of the neighborhood, expressed his frustration because long after the work was done, the mess left behind is still here and still needs to be cleaned up.
This is a beautiful area to take walks in, and now this has just ruined the area.
Hans described the mess as totally destroyed sod.
I would think between the park department and TDS, something needs to be done. We just need to get the water back on.
He is so frustrated, he's making signs.
It took putting signs up to get TDS to call, and they did.
And he's been reaching out to the Parks Department.
Put in 3 phone calls to them. I've got 2 emails into them, and I haven't had a response back.
City Councilman Mike Boyette also shares Hans's anger.
We want it done. The neighbors want it done. They're frustrated, as you can tell.
Mike says he talked with TDS, and he says the company understands the concerns.
I just got off the phone this morning with TDS, and they said, yes, we understand it's our problem, and yes, we need to fix it immediately.
But the question still remains. Why hasn't it been cleaned up?
I'm hoping that they comply with that and fix this immediately. I want the water on.
And the main goal is to make it look better, and that starts with getting the water back on for the parks.
We just want the water back on. That's all we want. So we can get these parks greened up for winter and let them get some water down to the roots.
After talking with frustrated neighbors, we reached out to TDS Fiber for an update on when this mess will be repaired. They responded with a statement saying, TDS and our contractors have worked diligently over the past several weeks to complete repairs in City Parkland related to construction of TDS all-fiber internet network. Reporting in Billings for MTN News, I'm Hannah Pettiferry.
Community members tell Q2 that they plan to meet on September 17th to discuss the issues and make sure that TDS is following through on repairing the grounds. Have you ever driven past roadkill and wondered who's responsible for cleaning it up? Well, the answer to that question would be the Montana Department of Transportation. Crews can pick up dozens of large animals in one day, a messy but very important job. Aside from patrolling for roadkill, the crews also make scoops based on calls from the public. And this time of year, their phones tend to ring a little more than ever with deer in rut. Depending on the city, animal cleanups are taken to the landfill or special composting sites. MDT says there is a way you can help keep the roads safe.
Well, if you hit an animal and it's still in the roadway, we need to get it off of the road, onto the shoulder, someplace that the rest of the traveling public can get by safely.
Well, if you do see a dead animal on the roadway or move one to the side, you can notify MDT by calling their offices or filing a report through their app.